And I don't know anybody that's as into their community as you are from the ground up. You really are into your community.
You know, Sarah, one of the things that I did want to say about Representative Ching is she loves her Liliha so much that she has done a welcome center. She has done a neighborhood or community clock in conjunction with a private business. She's also yearly does the I Love Liliha Festival that I know it just drives her crazy because it's so much work. But this is the kind of stuff, aside from the big picture thing, she's doing things right in the community.
And I know that Representative Ching, you really are a public servant because you really do take your own funds, the money that you make here at the state legislature, and you just wash it back into your community. And that's a wonderful thing. You provide so many good benefits for your community. So thanks for being on our team. Thanks for continuing to fight for us.
It's a real honor to be here.
Let's move on to Representative Lynn Finnegan. I would just like to thank you for you and Representative Pine. You guys have been doing a wonderful job on teen dating and trying to get out the violence. And thank you so much for all the efforts that you guys have done as well. Representative Finnegan, can you maybe explain why we need to crack down on teen dating violence?
Sure. You know, in Hawaii, we have a lot of domestic violence cases, and you know, one of the things that I remember is I went over to the mainland and at a conference, and I was learning about this teen dating violence thing. And I said, well, you know, we've got the real thing. We've got the domestic violence. We have terrible situations in Hawaii between, you know, husband and wife, killings and stuff, and that's what I want to concentrate on. But as I started to listen more, this was a nationwide movement to bring the awareness of the prevention part of domestic violence, which is teen dating violence, and where you're starting to teach kids at a very early age, and they call them the tweens, anywhere from the 11 to 14, and then teens until young adults. And they're starting to learn because some of them are getting into, you know, romantic relationships at an early age, not knowing how to deal with that emotional, you know, connection between two people. And teens start to either, you know, text each other, where are you going? Or why aren't you here? You know, and it starts to, those are some of the signals early on in teen dating violence. It starts to look a little bit like possessiveness, and then later on pushing and shoving, or verbal abuse or financial abuse. And it's all, when I started to learn about this and joined up with a group of mothers and fathers that basically wanted to do some education to teach, to have it, you know, have it as an option in our schools to say, hey, before you think of this kind of relationship, this kind of action as love, realize that this is abuse and not love. So the campaign is called Love is Not Abuse. And it's actually a partnership with Liz Claiborne across the country, as well as the National Federation of Women Legislators. And so that's one of the things that I've been working on this year, was to get that resolution passed, to figure out how do we get to that gap of prevention before domestic violence. And we had a similar opportunity to talk to the sisters of Royal Kaukane, actually from, you know, from Eva Beach. And it was such a sad situation because Royal was murdered by her ex-fiancé. And the sisters came on a similar show, and they started talking about how when they were raised, when they were young, they were subject to mom and dad fighting in an abusive relationship. And so it was kind of normal for them. But eventually, as time went on, most of the sisters realized that abuse is not love, and they are in healthy relationships right now. But for some reason, Royal was the kind-hearted, friendly person that wanted to fix her ex-fiancé, and that said that, oh, you know, I love him so much, I want to fix him, he didn't mean to hurt me. And time after time, you know, they would say, only if she knew, you know, early on, because by the time she was in her, you know, 20s, she didn't know how to deal with it anymore, no matter how much she tried to stay away from the relationship. So this whole effort that I've been involved with, teen dating violence, is about prevention, making sure the kids understand that love is not abuse, and that's what I'm sharing with through this resolution with the state. And hopefully we'll be doing more by educating kids across the state, as well as getting, you know, support from parents and relatives.
Well, prevention methods are definitely something that we should really be focusing in on, prevent the crime before it happens.
Sure.
And thank you so much for being such a strong advocate. I see you at the state capitol, and I see the progress that you've made, and it's really astonishing. So thank you so much, Minority Leader. You've been doing a wonderful job.
Can I reel back on one of the preventive mechanism which relates to what I said about taxation? You know, we create havoc in families by increasing the cost of living, by increasing the taxes. People say, well, domestic violence, that's emotional and it's other things, but it's directly related to what all of the social workers say. What is the first thing that people argue about in families?
Money.
Finances.
Money.
Yeah.
And if we're pushing them just to make survival, put enough food on the table, we're exacerbating, throwing fire, if you alcohol or fuel onto the fire by increasing the cost of living. And these GT taxes and the liquor taxes, you know, it's going to cost you about $10 to get a pack of cigarettes nowadays. And they've created a demographic that says basically it's the poor people and the undereducated who are smoking nowadays. And that tax is going to go basically on top of them. And a lot of them do it. A lot of people are smoking to sort of escape. During the Depression, you know, the two businesses that made all the money, the taverns and the movie theaters. Go and get an escape. So we got to be mindful that the economics of the place are directly related to the domestic violence in the home. So I just want to bring those two together.
It's definitely going to get worse, and a lot of the domestic violence groups have been talking to us about their concerns about not only is this a bad economy, and then now government's going to make things more expensive for them. And one thing I wanted to add to Royal's case, and I met with the sisters at their home, they said the one thing that really frightened them was that their sister was kidnapped multiple times by the same person, and he was able to, kidnapped by gunpoint. This isn't just a regular come in my car. She was kidnapped by her ex-boyfriend several times with a gun, and he was able to get out of jail every time. And when she was finally killed, she had been staying in a different sister's home like every few days. And then he finally tracked her down to like not far from where I live. And it's been, you know, really troubling to the people of Eva Beach because we're such a family community, and we've had some tragedies where these men from the outside are coming in and attacking our women. And so what's great about Eva Beach is we're a community that comes together, and we all went to their home, and we went and we prayed with all the pastors of the community, and now all the churches are going to be involved to watch out for these domestic violence cases.
That's great.
And all the churches are also going to be trying to educate the families about taking care of each other, and that hitting is wrong, and it's just not acceptable at all.